That's the video camera.
Everyone has an extra phone just to get ready backup.
They had a sick one.
With the camera?
Right? No, I think it just restarted.
I had them all day. It's my house.
Just wireless.
Left at home.
If you want to start over, I don't think it's recording.
Alright, whatever. Sorry. So I'm gonna start from now. So basically, he's in the second in the command, and now there's a famine in Eretz Yisrael. There's no food there. So Yaakov Avinu tells the brothers, "Listen, we have to go get some food for the house. Go to Mitzrayim and go get the food." They do not know that Yosef is alive. They don't know that he's the second in command. Nothing.
But didn't they somewhat know that they had to eventually end up there?
They had to eventually end up there, but when, how, and what circumstances they don't know about. They know that,
They didn't know Yosef was going to be the one.
They don't know who's alive. They sold him, and that's it. They wiped his hands clean with them. He's done with them. They thought they'll never see him again. For him, he's gone.
He's dead.
They thought he's dead. They don't know he's alive. So he's there in the second in command, and he is orchestrating. He knows eventually that the whole world has to come to him for food. Mitzrayim was the chief, they were the emperor of the whole world. So when there's no food in the world, they're coming to me. So he designated that everyone is going to have to come through his doors. So what did he do? He put guards on entrances of the city. And Mitzrayim had 12 entrances. So he put 12 guards on each entrance, and he told whoever comes to this door, I want you to sign in like you want. Like Trump has a sign-in service he wants to do. I think he wants to do I think he instituted. He wants to have everyone that wants the registration come in. That's what they had back then. They had a registration system.
They built the wall, Joseph?
Not a wall. He didn't build a wall. I think the wall was So he had the registration system. So now Yaakov tells his brothers, go in through each different. There's 10 brothers. Each one go in through a different section, different entrance of the city. Why? So that no one would raise suspicion. They see 10 guys coming together. It's going to look fishy. So go in separately. So now they go in separately, and each guy goes to the door and he signs in. Reuven ben Yaakov, Shimon, Levi ben Yaakov, Zevulun. Everyone writes in, and they write down ben Yaakov. So now Yosef gets the documents, and he says, they finally came. Yaakov, ben Yaakov, ben Yaakov. They all see his brothers came to Mitzrayim. So he orders all the storage houses closed, except one, his. They have to come straight to him. They come straight to him now, and he tells them, "What'd you come for?" And he claims that they're spies, and he goes through a whole course of. People think it's called revenge. He didn't do revenge. What he did was a cleansing process. The guy has a sin. In order to wipe his slate, you have to give him some kind of. You have to put him through the runner. You got to put him through it. A guy. I'll give you an example. A T-shirt, the clothing that gets dirty. In order to clean it, you got to put soap. You got to throw into the washing machine. It's got to spin. You got to throw into the dryer. It's got to spin. And it comes out clean. It has to go through some kind of process of a cleansing process in order to come out clean. So Yosef had to put them through the runner. He did all these type of things to get them to cleanse their slate. For instance, what happened? He brought them in. He told them, "You guys are spies. You're all spies." He told them, "No, we're not spies. We're coming to get some food." He said, "No, I don't believe any of you guys. You're spies." So he puts the whole thing in charge of them. We have to start locking you up. First thing he does is he puts he puts some money in the bag of Shimon, and he takes Shimon, who is the mighty Shimon of the brothers, and he has to lock him up. I don't know if you guys know, Shimon was a very, very strong man. Him and his brother Levi destroyed the whole city of Shechem. They killed almost 24,000 people. They killed. They were physically strong. They were physically strong. All the brothers were physically strong. Not only were they spiritually strong, they were also physically strong. So Shimon, the Midrash says, that Yosef tells his 70 of his servants that were with him, and he told them, go and put handcuffs on Shimon. Go put him in jail. So Shimon looks at his brothers. Again, the brothers, first of all, they were physically strong and also spiritually strong. Meaning, you can't touch them. They can kill you in a second. You can't mess with these guys. Shimon tells his brothers, let's see if you can get me into jail. And they come to attack him. And again, I'm reading the Midrash. They come to attack him, and he yells out this big yell. Screams, like a raw, it's a sarach, yelled. Immediately, it says those 70 guys, they fell and they broke their teeth. From that yell. Then he come close to him. Shimon. Yelled, meaning stay away from me. Again, it's physically, these guys were strong. So Yosef sees that his servants have no power over Shimon. he tells his son Menashe, who was right next to him, he was his interpreter. He told Menashe, Mitzrayim can't handle Shimon. You go put him in jail. Again, 70 men couldn't handle him. He told Menashe, you go put him in jail. Menashe went to Shimon, says he gave him a hit. He hit him, and he subdued Shimon, and he put him in jail. When Shimon heard that, when he saw what happened, he told the brothers, En ze makkah mi Mitzrayim, ela makkah mi bet abi. Meaning, that hit that I got is not a hit of Mitzrayim. That's not an Egyptian hit. That's a hit from our father's house, meaning that's a family hit. We know what strength is. That's a Jewish strength. They knew something was up there. At that moment, they realized something here is weird. Because how can Menashe put him in jail? If 70 guys weren't able to subdue him, one guy, Menashe, his son, is able to subdue him, so something over here is kind of fishy. They already knew that they're messing with some kind of different power. So then they realized that Shimon now was in jail. Why did Yosef separate Shimon and Levi? Because he knew that if they had two of them together in jail, they'll destroy the whole Mitzrayim. So he separated one, put Shimon in jail, and told Levi, go home. Comes back the story again. I'm going to fast forward. They come to Yosef and tell him, listen, we did everything we can. We obeyed by the laws. We were coming here to get food. And it keeps on insisting that you guys are liars and stealers. And an interesting thing happens. He tells them, is your father alive? Are you, who's in the house? And they mentioned something that they shouldn't have mentioned. They said, we have another brother who is still home. He mentions the fact that they volunteer information. They say that our other brother, they said, Binyamin, he's still at home. My father loves it. He always tells me this story, and I have to say, because he told me you have to say this story, so I'm going to say the story. It's a story of how sometimes when you volunteer information, it hurts you. He tells a story like this. My father one time was on a flight, I think JetBlue was, I'm not sure. And there's an exit row. So the exit row has a rule. If you're not feeling good, you can't sit there. Right? You know that rule? You have to be perfectly fine, supposedly. Because if anything happens, you have to open the door. So my father's online for the check-in, and he's waiting to get an exit row. And there's a big Slav guy right in front of him. And he's like, for sure, this guy's taking the seat. And he's right in front of the guy, and the guy goes to the check-in lady, the counter lady, I want an exit row seat. I was like, okay, that's it, it's done. Guy got an exit row seat, he's happy. So the girl's checking him out, the whole process, and she hands him the ticket. Again, she hands him the ticket, and she goes, here you go, sir. Before you guys, I want to ask you a quick question. And he says, quick, because I can't wait to get my seat. My head's killing me. I'm exhausted. She says, oh, your head's killing you? You're not exhausted? She took it back. She said, sorry, sir. She said, sorry, sir. We cannot issue an exit row seat if you're not feeling well. No, I feel fine. No. He said, no, I'm sorry, sir, we can't give it to you. And he got a regular seat. My father came up. She said, how you feeling? So I feel fine. I feel great. You got a ticket, and he sat an exit row seat. So he always tells me, you have to tell the story over again. It's about volunteering information. It's not. Don't give voluntary information. That's what the brothers did. They told Yosef, we have another brother home. He said, oh, you have another brother home? Bring him. Now this when the story gets very juicy. Binyamin was not in the whole mathematical equation of Yosef. Yosef knew that the brothers who sold him, they have to go through a cleansing process, right? But Binyamin was not around at the time of the selling. So he technically is patur from this. He shouldn't have to go through the situation. So the brothers are saying to themselves, I don't understand. If we have to go through a cleansing process, they start realizing, wait, all this might be because of what we did.
They think it's Yosef.
No, they don't think it's Yosef. They think that they're getting punished from Hashem for what they did. They sold their brother, they killed their brother. Hashem is getting them back now. They figured, obviously, it's living up to the tale. Now they realize that
they pretty much probably only did one sin.
They did only one sin.
Right.
They did only one sin.
That's it.
Yeah, Binyamin is one of the 4 people. I was reading the Gemara, I didn't bring it. Gemara says that Binyamin was one of the 4 people in this world who ever died with no sins. But the brothers had one sin.
What about killing the whole Shechem? Wasn't a sin.
Reuben had a sin.
That was not a sin.
Misha didn't sin.
That was not a sin.
It's not a sin.
Murder.
You have to send the story over there. They raped Dinah.
So, control your emotions.
No, Reuben.
There is a point. It wasn't a sin. It wasn't a sin.
Can't not be a sin. I think it ended up for the good, but there's still this.
There's a whole side, another thing over there.
Yehuda.
wasn't a sin.
How's that a sin?
It's not a sin.
How
Again,
is that a sin?
these are different
Yeah, but
topics.
who'd you say never sinned? Binyamin and three other people.
Binyamin, David's father, whose
So
name
I'm
was.
saying Shimon never said he didn't sin, and Yehuda
No,
never
they
sinned.
sinned. They had the sin of the brothers.
What?
The selling of Yosef was a brother.
Was their only sin now?
Was their only sin.
Oh, really?
And they didn't say anything.
So, I'm not saying they don't deserve it.
Are you sure it would
Yeah.
consider
Would
And
you
it says, when it says,
go and
Misha
take
Omer
the
Reuven
right to go
Chata,
kill them?
Eno Toeh. Whoever says that
He's
Reuven
talking about
sinned
that
They just
situation
went and killed them.
with the beds.
So the beds.
Whoever says that
I
he
don't think it's a
sinned,
bad
he's
thing.
Toeh. He's
I mean,
sin.
I don't think the result is a bad thing.
Whoever said that Reuven sins, he's sinning.
You have
You can't do
to.
it.
You can't say
What
he's
do you
sinning.
mean?
I don't know if
Have
it's in
this.
It wasn't a sin.
If
And
they're
Yehuda
gonna kill
was-
her,
It was his
Yeah,
level
It
was
was a sin, but just
It wasn't a sin.
not the sin that it appeared
Right.
to be of
She wanted
on
to
his
do it.
level.
Guys,
And
the
Yehuda,
king's son wanted to do it.
Also not
stuck up
Kedusha Hashem,
stuck
yeah.
up for Tamar.
Disgrace the
Yeah.
family.
No.
They do it for a dead body. They'll kill a whole.
Just
whole
stay on track and we'll
Arabs.
do that next place.
Yeah, I think. It's a good question, but
We'll do the whole murder scene next time.
so let's go back to the topic.
He's on a road.
Let's go back to the same. This class isn't interesting. So let's go back to the same topic. So Binyamin, he's not in the calculation. Binyamin's not in the calculation, so he does not need to go through this whole cleansing process. So now they hear that Yosef tells the brothers, "Listen, I want you now to go back to your father Yaakov and bring back this other boy, Binyamin." Now they say, "Whoa, hold on, this guy's off limits. We'll go through all this. I have no problem, but you're not bringing Binyamin here. We know that if we bring Binyamin and you put him in jail again, that's it. My father's gonna die because we already lost Yosef. They know why they lost Yosef, but Yosef is gone, and Yosef's mother Rachel, who was Yaakov's love, she passed away. So now he's got no one from that family, and Binyamin is the only kid that he has left from Rachel, the youngest little baby who was 31 years old at the time, wasn't really a baby, but the youngest kid. They want to take him now. They said no, that's not gonna happen. So he tells them, the brothers, so listen, I don't care what you guys want to say, but you're not getting food. You want to get food for your father? You claim you have no food at home? You're not getting food until you bring this kid. So they go back to Eretz Yisrael and they go tell their father. Reuven goes to tell his father, listen, Dad, Yaakov, we need to bring Binyamin. I don't know how to tell you, but we need to bring him. We told him this and this, and then Yaakov tells him, why'd you guys tell information? Why'd you even volunteer it? He gives him like a musad, and they tell him, listen, we need to bring to Binyamin. Reuven tells him, Dad, if you give us Binyamin, I promise that I'm going to take care of him. And if I don't take care of him, then Reuven says my 2 children will die.
How's
So
that a
So Yaakov tells him,
It's his grandkids.
the Midrash says, Yaakov told Reuven, you're shoteh. Your kids are my kids. Your kids are my grandkids. He told him, you must have a switch that's missing. He pushed him aside. He didn't agree. Yehuda came to him, and Yehuda tells Yaakov. Yehuda, who is the leader, he's the fighter. He tells his father Yaakov, Dad, I know everything that happened. I know this crazy situation, but give me Binyamin. I'm going to take care of it. He tells him, how are you going to be different than anyone else? He tells him something very interesting. He says, I guarantee you that if I don't bring Binyamin back, then the pasuk says, Chatati lecha kol hayamim. I sin to you for all my days. What does that mean? I sin to you for all my days. So he said that Yehuda tells Yaakov, if I don't bring him back, I lose my olam haba. All my days means all my days here and all my days in the next world. I lost everything. If I don't bring him back, take away everything I have, meaning cancel out my olam haba, everything, I lose everything. When Yaakov heard that, he said, wow, that's a deal I'm going to make. And he gives him Binyamin. He knew that Yehuda, he valued olam haba. It's not just someone saying, imagine a big rabbi, Hamad Yosef saying, olam haba is on the line. He means olam haba is on the line. Their whole life they work for olam haba. Now when they go to do a negotiation, they're not talking about dollars and collateral. They're talking about olam haba. Yaakov knew what that was, so he did a deal with him. So now he gives him Binyamin. Listen to the story. It's an amazing story. How deep it is. They bring Binyamin and they're going back to Yosef's house now. Imagine what kind of lifeline he has, what kind of responsibility Yehuda has over this kid. It's olam haba on the line. So now they go bring Binyamin. And Yosef, he knows that's what's going on. He never saw his brother Binyamin. Yosef was sold before he met Binyamin. So he never ever saw his brother Binyamin. 31 years old, he never saw him. He never saw him. Binyamin doesn't know who he is. And other brothers do not know who he is because they don't recognize him.
Born at his own?
They don't recognize Yosef because he had a long beard. When he left him, he was 17 years old. He's now almost 30. Totally different guy. He's got a beard. He's the leader of all Mitzrayim. We can't even imagine what it looks like, but they don't recognize him.
39, no?
I don't know exactly how much it was, but he was in there for 12 years, so
It's crazy how they didn't recognize
17
him.
plus 12,
39.
29.
Like,
I
they
think it was 29.
he sold them to the Arabs, not like.
Someone's Ishmael, you get them Mitzrayim.
It's crazy. Huh?
So now-
The
Mitzrayim. Ishmaelim to the Arabs, and they sold to Midianim, and then they end up in Mitzrayim.
You would
Like
just
it's-
never
it's-
think. You would just never.
You never think that that's the story. That's the way it worked out.
How did
So
it
now
start?
here's the
So-
situation. Yosef's on the throne, and he sees the 10 brothers coming, and then he sees this precious little boy, 31 years old boy, Binyamin, his brother,
He was 31?
31.
Binyamin.
Binyamin was 31 years old.
Oh, at this moment?
At this moment, he sees Binyamin, and he
Still
goes,
young.
saying it. So
So I'm saying, if he's 31, then he was supposed to be much.
he was the youngest one, so they're all much older than him.
Means Yosef
saying
was
Yosef
like
is not-
50, 60 years
No,
old.
I don't know.
was in his
I
30s.
don't know the mathematical equation of it, but he was so weighing was 17, so he's got to be at least 47 at the time. So bottom, whatever, not 47. So I don't know exactly.
Whatever, okay.
So it comes down,
48.
whatever. So it comes down to it. I know we're all in the I think we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same. I'm not a math guy, so
Your reply wasn't that much quicker.
I'm not a big math guy. But here's the situation.
Living, all right.
So he
Figure this
sees
one out.
he sees Binyamin now. Sees his long lost brother Binyamin, and he sees the brothers, and he looks at Binyamin, and immediately he gets so overwhelmed with emotion. He finally sees his long lost brother. He couldn't hold it in. He goes to the other room, and he starts to cry by himself. And he comes back, washes his face, comes back, and he speaks to the brothers, and he tells them, "This is your boy. This is the brother." And they said, "Yes, this is our brother Binyamin." Okay, and he tells them, "Okay, I want you guys to come and have a meal with me. We're gonna sit down." So Yosef, he takes a cup that he has, a golden cup, a goblet, and he knows now the order of the brothers, because that's the brothers. He knows who's the oldest and who's not. So he takes this cup now, and he takes a knife, and he starts banging on the cup, and he says, "You Yehuda, you're the oldest, you sit here." And they're all like, "Wow, how does this guy know that he's the oldest?" Then he goes,
He's
"You,
the
you
oldest?
no, sorry, Reuven. Sorry, Reuven, you're the oldest. You sit here. Yehuda, you sit here. Zevulun." And he starts telling them where to sit in order by whose mother and whose family. That's where they sit. They were going crazy. How does this guy know who we are, who we sit with? They thought it was like Avodah Zarah. It's telling them where to sit. So then he tells Binyamin, who has no mother and no brother, and he says, "Binyamin, I can tell you have no mother, and you have no brother." And he says, "I also have no mother and no brother. So you're going to sit next to me."
Wow.
So everyone's sitting by themselves, with their families, with the brothers. They're having a big meal. And Binyamin's sitting right next to him. And he starts talking to Binyamin. And Midrash tells you exactly what happens. And he asks Binyamin, he says, "Are you married?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Do you have any kids?" He says, "Yes, I have 10 kids." He says, "What are their names?" And Torah also mentions the names. And it says that the names are really, really strange names. One of them is Bela, Arbel, all different these names. And he asks him, "What are these names?" Yosef says, "What are these crazy names?" So he says, "These names that I gave my kids are all names representing my long lost brother that I never met." So he got very emotional. He hears and he says, explain to me." So the first name was Bela. Bela is swallow. Why? Because my brother got swallowed between the nations. Another name was
He
Arbel.
knows the story. Sorry,
What?
Binyamin knows.
Binyamin, he knows eventually, all the brothers knew that they sold him.
No, but even Yaakov knew?
No, Kovdana no.
Binyamin knew?
But I knew, he knew. They had like a pact, but they're not telling their father. They had a cherem.
They ended up telling Binyamin, "We sold your brother."
Right,
years
but
ago."
they didn't tell you about Yaakov.
The
No,
father didn't
everyone but
know-
Yaakov.
Yaakov didn't know the
Everyone but
behind the
Yaakov.
names and everything.
Right. No, you don't. So Binyamin tells him all these names, and then he tells him one of the names are Chupim. Why Chupim? He says, because I never saw his chuppah, and he never saw my chuppah.
Wow.
It's a crazy name. All these different names. Mupim, all these different names that are representing. One of them is Achi, my brother. All these names that are representing. So Yosef hears that, he's like, imagine what kind of emotion. The brother, he hears that the brother really wanted him his whole life. He really wanted to see him, and he speaks to him and tells him, "Tell me something. Is your father still alive? Is he still well?" And Binyamin tells him, ever since I've known him, he has never slept on a bed. He always sleeps on the floor. Why? Out of sad, out of pain of losing his son. Again, Yaakov knows that his son's not passed away. He knows that his son is gone. There's a certain feeling. He wasn't able to get comforted because he knew his son's still alive somewhere. He had a feeling that his son was still around. So he would sleep on the floor ever since the story happened. And Benjamin tells Yosef this, and Yosef, he cannot hold himself. He wants to reveal himself to his brothers, but he does not say a word. He kept it in. And he tells Benjamin, tell me something. Tell me more. And Benjamin tells him, I want to tell you something else. When I sit down for meals, when we sit down in our family for meals, everyone sits down with their family. Everyone has their mother and father. Everyone sits down. And they have their brothers. But I have no brother. And I have no mother. I have to sit by myself when I eat.
Wow.
Yosef hears this again. He goes to the other room, and he cries. He comes back. It's a very emotional story.
Knowing this is his brother.
Knowing he knows his brother, he cannot handle it.
Right.
But he has to, for the purpose of cleaning their slate, he has to let the process go through. Imagine what kind of strength he has to control your emotion in that situation.
So he intended on cleaning their slate.
Until a certain
Is that
point,
something that God told him to do?
everything
But
was
he's not
everything.
Why did his job?
How did he take it upon himself?
Well, he didn't. These are tzaddikim. They're not doing things on their own. And at the end of the class, I'm going to explain why.
But
It's a
he
good
didn't-
question.
He's not cleaning Benjamin's slate.
He's not going to be slave. Everything has to happen.
Benjamin's going through what I'm saying.
But it means going through also tzad, right? But everything
Did
has
he
to
have that
happen.
in his head when he was doing it, or it just that's what God
Yosef
wanted?
had pure intentions. I'm going to show you at the end of the class. Everything's going to come to a full circle. You're going to see. Good question. So Yosef now tells Binyamin, and he's speaking to him, and they're getting emotional. Now the meal is still going on, and Yosef does something very interesting. He tells everyone he takes their bags, he fills up their bags with food, and he goes, go back to your father, tell him everything's fine. And he takes that golden cup that he had, and he puts it in Binyamin's bag. So now they're going home, everyone's happy, they got their food, the situation's done. They can finally exhale from Yosef and go back home. On the way home, Yosef tells his servants, go chase after this guy of this family. They stole from us again. They stole the goblin. Wow. Not only did you steal from the kingdom, you stole his cup, which is zilzul, it's chayamita, because you're going against the kingdomship. Now the servants come to the brothers, and they catch them, and they say, what do you want? We just left him, everything was great. And they said, no, not so fast, open your bags. So what do you mean everything's good? They open their bags, everyone's clean. They go to Binyamin, they open his bag. They find the goblin, the golden cup. At that moment, it says that they beat up Binyamin. They started giving him hits on his shoulders.
Must have been Menashe.
The brothers were beating him up. No. The brothers started beating him up. They started giving him hits. It says Makea Ato on his shoulders. Because he got hit on his shoulders, Hashem paid him back. That Beit HaMikdash is going to rest on his Nachal. Everyone had a portion of Beit Israel. Binyamin got Yerushalayim, and Beit HaMikdash is on his portion. Why? Because you got hit for no reason. I'm going to take care of you. Everything was in calculation. Binyamin got all the hit. They said, you're a ganav. They said, you're a stealer. Just like your mother stole, you're a stealer. His mother, Rachel, she stole the Avodah Zarah from Lavan. And Yaakov said, whoever stole this Avodah Zarah is going to die. And he didn't know that was Rachel.
Right.
And she passed away from that. But she stole it. She had good intentions, but she stole it. So the brothers said, you're a stealer. They blamed him. They said, just like your mother stole, you're also a stealer. He didn't do anything, Binyamin. The guy did nothing. They blamed him. So now imagine the situation. Here's what we got to this week's parasha starts right now. Yehuda finds out that Binyamin now is going to jail. And you know Yehuda had on the line. Olam haba. That's what he has on the line. So now he's thinking to himself, oh man, I gotta go fight now about Binyamin now. How are we gonna get through this? Shimon, Levi, Binyamin, how are we gonna get through this? How many times can I prove that we were innocent? They bring the story back, all the guys back to the kingdomship. Yosef tells them, I don't understand. I give you all the food, we had a seudah, and you steal from my kingdom? How could you do this? Yehuda tells him, you know what? You're right. We're all slaves. Let Binyamin go home. We're here forever. We're your slave forever. They said, no. Yosef says, no, I don't want any of you guys. You all go back home. I want Binyamin. He has to stay here. Okay. Now the parasha starts. Now this week's parasha starts. Vayigash elav Yehuda. Yehuda says, okay, that's it. He's a fighter. He says, now I gotta fight. Now I see that everything is being tricked. I realize that everything's a scam. I'm gonna fight now. No more speaking. Now the Midrash comes and says exactly what happens. Yehuda is going to fight Yosef. He's not going to get Binyamin back. He knows that's it. He's going there to fight. Ready to fight a war. The Malachim say, there's Malachei Asher, it says, let's go see what's going down. The Malachim said, let's go see the mighty lion versus the mighty sword. Yosef is corresponding to a sword, an ox, and Yehuda is a good ayeh. He's a lion. You know, a lion is the king of his kingdom, and an ox is the king of his kingdom. They're both going head to head. Who wins the fight? Who wins between a lion and an ox? Do you know? So an ox is stronger, he wins. However, the lion is faster. So he attacks him first. The ox attacks him first, but the lion he bites him in the side and he kills him because he's faster. This is a mighty, mighty war between Aryeh and Shor, Yehuda and Yosef. The Malachim come down to see what's going on, and I want to read the exact words because I can't say from my own head because you wouldn't believe me. So I have to actually say each and every word. If you have any more questions, let me know. But I'm starting. Yehuda comes to actually have a war with Yosef. And he tells him, Ki kamocha ke Paro. You're just like Paro. He tells him, what do you mean? He tells him, Paro, in Mitzrayim, they had a lot of incense and they had a lot of homosexuality. A lot of it. And as you know, Binyamin was one of the ones that never sinned. So when a guy never sins, he has physical beauty and spiritual beauty because he's clean, like a baby. Babies are totally clean, they have no sins. So Yehuda tells Yosef, you're just like Paro. Not only do you want, I know why you want Binyamin. You want him for relations.
Wow.
You're homosexual. You want to use him for relations. I'm not gonna let that happen. That was his claim. He says, Kamocha ke Paro, you're just like Paro. And then he tells him, I don't want him for relations. Go tell your father that Binyamin was tarof toraf. That he was eaten by a wild animal.
Wow.
That's I don't know if he has. That's what Yehuda told his father about Yosef. They said tarof toraf Yosef. He was eaten by a wild animal. So Yosef tells him, go tell your father that Binyamin was eaten by a wild animal. So now Yehuda is getting riled up now. It's getting riled up now. This is the story starts now. So he tells him. He tells him like this. I gotta read from straight up. 1 second. So he tells Yehuda. Good. He tells Yehuda, why are you such a big talker? You're not the oldest one. Reuven's the oldest one. Why are you talking so much? So he says, I was co-signer on my brother's contract. I signed my life on his line. So he tells him, why didn't you sign your life when your first brother got lost? When Yosef was stolen, why don't you sign your line over there? So he's enticing him more. So Yehuda tells him, so he tells him like this. He tells one of the brothers, his name was Naphtali. Naphtali was known to be very, very fast. I don't know if you guys know that they're one of the fast guys. He has a son.
Gazelle, right?
Also Dan was also his son was Hushim. But he has one of his brothers called Naphtali. He tells Naphtali, go check how many cities are in Mitzrayim. Go check how many cities. He comes back, tells him there's 12 cities. He tells him there's 12 cities in Mitzrayim. Yehuda goes, okay, I got 3. I'm going to kill all 3 cities. You brothers, there's 9. You take the rest. Again, there's 12 cities. Only 10 brothers here. So he goes, you guys kill each city. I'm taking 3. We're going to destroy the whole city. Okay? That's what happens right now. Yehuda goes to take away his sword out of his pocket. They have the sword, they have that sheath. Sheath it's called? What's it called? Sheath?
Yeah.
You had that like
Fun fact.
ready.
Right, you have it, that's a nice.
You guys are like Game of Thrones?
That's a nice. Right.
You guys are saying. You guys are waiting to see like you're
That's a good answer, man. That's quick on the spot. Koos, you ready for this? This is action right now, man. This is action. This is swords and knives.
6 seasons of Game of Thrones.
This is sheaths. Yehuda goes to pull out his sword from his sheath, and he tells Yosef, if I pull, again, he doesn't know what Yosef. Because if I pull out the sword from my sheath, right?
Holster also.
I will not stop.
Bugs.
I will not stop until Mitzrayim is done. Yosef tells him, if you pull out your sword, I'm gonna cut your throat off with it.
Oh.
I'm gonna take it against you and cut off your throat. So he says, if I pull out my sword, I'm gonna paint the whole Mitzrayim in blood. So he says, you guys have painting in your history when you painted the coat in blood and said Torah Yosef. So Yosef tells it.
Kodesh he has?
Not Ruach Kodesh.
Yeah, he didn't know that they painted it.
Yosef said it to
Yosef know everything that happened.
of which he was the victim.
Right.
He tells the brothers, you guys are painters back in the past when you painted the coat.
How did Yosef know that they painted it?
Yosef knew everything.
I'm saying it's Rohan.
Yosef-
They painted it.
Yosef was
Spies. He found
Yosef
out
was
the
there for
story.
everything.
Back.
Sure.
No, it's Rohan.
I wasn't there.
No, they took off his coat.
And then they painted it.
First of all, he had a Ruach Kodesh, that's for sure. That's an easy
No, it was
answer.
in the same time.
But he was there for everything. He knows everything.
Minutes.
He knew everything, Yosef. So now he tells him.
Second in command to the whole world. He had
Right,
spies everywhere for sure.
So he tells him, you guys are painters in the past. So now Yehuda tells him, if I open my mouth, I'm gonna swallow you alive. So Yosef tells him, if you open your mouth, I'm gonna fill it with rocks. Again, it's Midrash, it's straight up. I have everything highlighted. Everything is straight up highlighted in the book. I just don't have enough time to say it. But it's highlighted.
I did a lot of time.
It did a lot, trust me. And there's more highlights. It goes more. It goes on and more.
Good stuff.
He goes, I'm gonna fill your mouth with rocks. So he says to Yosef, meaning the candle of Shechem is burning in me. Meaning the same anger that I had when I destroyed Shechem, it's burning in me. I'm gonna destroy the whole city. So Yosef tells him,
What, Yehuda was the one who destroyed
they're all into it. Shimon Levi, but also all the brothers were fighters in the story. So Yosef tells him, I see the candle of Tamar lighting in me. I don't know if you know the story of Yehuda and Tamar. We spoke about this last time. He also knew that Yehuda slept with his daughter-in-law. He says, I see the candle of Tamar being lit as well. So everything now is being
Out in the open.
verse.
Watching
They're all watching this whole scenario. Vayigash Yehuda. They all see this whole situation. It's an actual fight. It's not just a simple matter. So now Yosef sees what's going on. He sees how angry Yehuda is getting, and he knows, if I push Yehuda to a certain point, eventually I cannot destroy my brothers. They're too strong for me. Again, 10 verse 1, he cannot handle it. He tells Yosef tells himself, at a certain point I have to stop with this. I can't push him too far, but I have to know when's the right point. So he keeps on going, and and again I want to highlight one sentence that he says. He tells himself, Yosef tells himself, it's better that I should kill myself, meaning it's better that Yehuda kills me, and not let my brothers get embarrassed. What does that mean? At this moment, he tells himself, I push him too far, and I know if I push him a little more, he's going to destroy the whole city. And he said, you know what? I can't let him destroy the whole city, but I have to reveal myself to the brothers, because it's time. So he tells the Egyptians, everyone out of the room. And he's afraid. If I tell my Egyptians out of the room, then it's one-on-one with the brothers, and they might just kill him. Because after all, they want to kill him. So he says, it's better that I die. He's ready to risk himself just so that his brothers won't get embarrassed. And this is the answer to your question. Was he taking revenge? He was not taking revenge. He did everything according to what had to be done. How do we know? Because here, he was still sensitive to the feelings of his brothers. Imagine his brothers sold him. They wanted to kill him. They threw him out of the family. They threw him into a pit with snakes and scorpions. You know what that means, snakes and scorpions? They threw him into a pit, and he still wasn't ready to take full revenge. He wasn't saying, I'm going to kill you guys. No. Not only wasn't he getting revenge, he didn't want to embarrass them. So he told everyone out of the room. And he risked his life. And now he's face to face with his brothers. Listen to what the Midrash says. Modi, this is the punchline, climax of the story. This is the sheath of the story. L'chaim Jack. And let it slide. No one heard that. So basically, Maurice, you ready for this? This is for you right now. So I'm looking right at you now. He tells the brothers, you guys told me that that Yosef, your brother, your long lost brother, he was killed? I said, yeah. They told him yes because they were afraid that if he tells them that he's still alive, they're going to tell him, go find him, and they can't find him. So he tells them, yeah, he's dead. So he tells them,
I'm listening.
There's listening and there's watching. So he tells them, "You guys claim he's dead? He's not dead." So what do you mean he's not dead? Something's wrong here. He tells them, "You guys claim you sold him, right?" They say, No, he's dead." They say, "No, you didn't. I am the one who bought him. I bought Yosef. He didn't say the name. He says, I bought your brother." They said, "You bought." They know that they sold him, so they know this is true.
Right.
They say, you bought our brother?" He says, "Yeah. If you want, I can call him for you. You can come see him."
Wow.
They're all in the... Imagine what they're saying to themselves. They're all afraid. They don't know what's going on right now. So he tells the brothers, "I want to call him right now." And Midrash says, he started to say, "Yosef ben Yaakov, bring out Yosef ben Yaakov, bring him out." And the brothers are in the room, and the Midrash says they're looking around the whole room. They're looking at all four corners of the room, looking around. They're making circles, they're going crazy, looking for Yosef, and he's not coming in. He says, "Yosef ben Yaakov, bring him in." And they're looking, he tells them, "What are you guys looking at?" They say, "We're looking for Yosef." He says, "I'm Yosef ben Yaakov. I'm Yosef ben Yaakov." Could you imagine that moment, what they were feeling? Yehuda comes to fight with him, and the second later he finds out, this is Yosef ben Yaakov. I want to tell you what the Midrash says on this, what happened at this moment. They were not able to answer them. They were not able to answer Yosef out of embarrassment. Imagine what kind of embarrassment it is. Not only is he alive and well, not only is he, being a part of the government, he is the second of the whole world, commands the whole world. And not only that, he's still a tzaddik more than the brothers. He was still, they realized on his face that this guy, he's not just a regular guy. He's still a tzaddik, he still has that pureness. They realized when he said that at the moment, they looked at his face and they realized everything came full circle. They realized everything.
And the dream came
And the dream came true. They said that the brothers bowed down to him. Everything came true. They look at Yosef and they were completely shocked. Yehuda, who came to fight with him, at that moment, he does what he's famous of doing, and he screams again. V'tzavach Yehuda. He yelled a crazy yell, and it says, at that moment, again, I'm going to tell you what it says in the Midrash. 300 men of Yosef's palace fell down and broke their teeth again. At that moment when he yelled, 2 cities in Mitzrayim fell down. Pitom and Ramses. That's why later in generations, when Bnei Yisrael comes to Mitzrayim, they have to rebuild 2 cities, Pitom and Ramses. You know why? Because they fell down when Yehuda yelled. Not only did they fall off, not only did they break their teeth, Yosef falls off his chair, Paro falls off his chair. I'm gonna say something crazy. Whether or not you want to believe it or not, Midrash says that there was people in the palace that were there. Their face turned around, and that's how they were forever until they died. Their face turned around from the scream, and that's how they stayed until they died. Ad Yom Motam. Their face turned around. I don't know what it means. I'm just reading from the Midrash. Panav histavu. Their face turned around, and that's from the scream. Whatever it means, again, I have to tell you because I highlighted it, so I have to say it. Right?
Is there any evidence of that? Like,
I
they
don't-
have those like Egyptian paintings?
I don't know. I really know. If Midrash says that, I believe it. Again, this is Midrash Tanchuma. The one who wrote this is Abi Tanchuma from the Gemara.
When they go into that, can't that mean like
It could mean.
they were shocked and they went like
It could mean.
Right.
Definitely could mean it. But when it says the cities fell down and they had to rebuild it, so that it must be physical. So the Jewish people did build cities, and the Egyptians do highlight that they built cities. They have pyramids these days. They have all these places in Egypt that they claim that the Jews did build these places. They have these pyramids that were built from the Jews. You can't build them these days because those are just mammoth things. They claim that Jews did build this.
I'm sure the face thing has a little
It could be. That definitely could be. I'm not.
exaggeration, right? We have
Again,
spines and things. We get that.
I would say
but-
more. I would say it might be a metaphorically type of thing.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
But it
not-
does say
it's
it,
not-
so-
Don't think it's
right.
so.
Right. But I gotta say, it says it in there. So that's what happens. So now he tells the brothers, "I'm Yosef," and he yells, and the place is in shock. But I want to highlight one thing. He tells them who he is, and the brothers realize now that is Yosef. and he does not,
Why'd you scream?
out of embarrassment, out of shock, out of that's
Every
what
emotion
else
that
can
a
you do?
human can have.
Yeah, you scream. What else can you do at that moment? You
Well, now he
can't,
knows he has the llama vows.
right, but what else would you do? So he yells. But I want to highlight one thing. Yosef at that moment does not say, "I told you so," or "You guys messed up," or "Look who's in charge now." Does not mention a word to them. He does not ever
In
mention.
so many words he does.
He does-
but he
No,
tortured
but
them.
He told
He
you
got
them.
them to dance
Again.
to his little tune over there.
He had to. Again,
Through the cleansing.
he had to
Right.
cleanse them. That's why I mentioned he had to do it. But he never once mentioned that you guys are at fault. Never ever said anything. And he tells them, "Don't worry, I completely forgive you. You guys are totally clean. Just do me a favor. Just tell my father he's still alive." And they said yes, the father's still alive. And the story continues next week. But I want to end off with the lesson of what Yosef really is. Imagine what kind of person he is to get embarrassed, to get thrown away, to get disregarded, and have the ability to not say a word and just let things take its course. You know how much strength Yosef has to have? That's why he's called Yosef HaTzadik. No one has that title. Moshe Rabbeinu is Moshe Rabbeinu, Aharon is Aharon, Avraham Avinu, Yaakov, Yitzchak. No one has this title of Yosef HaTzadik. We don't call him Yosef Avinu. We don't call him Yosef Rabbeinu. We call him Yosef HaTzadik. Why? Because he was totally, totally righteous. No one is compared to Yosef. He is our holy Yosef. That is our role model. That is someone that you have to look up to. If you get embarrassed, I want to end off with one thing. They say, anyone that gets embarrassed and does not say a word, doesn't answer anything, at that moment, he can ask for anything he wants. Et ratzon. And I want to give a story that happened a few years ago with a famous Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky. He was in Israel these days. Chaim Kanievsky. There was once a couple that had no kids for a long time. No kids. And they went to all rabbis to get every kind of sigula you want to get. You want to get wine, you want to get spit, you want to get a shoe, you want to get a horn. I don't know what you want to get. But all these sigulas weren't working. And they come to Chaim Kanievsky, and he's very famous for not giving any sigulot. One time someone came to him and said, "I want a sigula for Shalom Bayit." He said, "You want a sigula for Shalom Bayit? Grab a broom